Sonya Massey called 911 for help.
911.
Instead of finding solace, she encountered a nightmare, which resulted in her death in her own home at the hands of a law enforcement officer. In this video, you will learn who is Sonya Massey, what happened, who is Sean Grayson, how did he get hired, and the main question, who is to blame? Sonya Massey was born on February 12, 1988. She was a 36-year-old black woman and mother of two. She had a son and a daughter. She lived in Woodside Township near Springfield, Illinois. Family members have said Massey struggled with mental health issues and had undergone treatment. Her son, Malachi Hill Massey, said last week that his mother sent him and his sister to live with their fathers the first week of July because she had checked herself into a 30-day inpatient treatment program, then returned 2 days later. Shortly before 9:30 p.m. July 4th, a 911 caller from Massey's address said, "Somebody's trying to hurt me." When the dispatcher asked who, she said, "A lot of them." Pressed for more information, she said, "Never mind. This must not be the right number," and disconnected. When called back, she said she no longer needed police. The next morning, just after 9 a.m., Donna Massey called saying her daughter was outside the house and yelling. She said Sonya Massey is not a danger to anyone, but when she gets upset, she thinks everybody's after her, like paranoid schizophrenic. She told the dispatcher she fears the police and didn't want her daughter to be hurt.
The mental people told me to call 911. She's been mentally having a mental breakdown. She gets upset, then she thinks everybody's after her. Like paranoid schizophrenic. I don't want you guys to hurt her. And please don't send no combative policemen that are prejudiced, please.
Okay, well that would be none of them, and they just do their job, okay?
I'm scared of the police. Please,
Okay,
please.
there's nothing to be fearful of, man.
Sometimes they make the serious bit worse.
Springfield police who took the call reported that Massey did not want to talk to medical professionals, but was checked by emergency medical technicians who cleared her. Sonya Massey called a few hours later to report a neighbor had hit her with a brick. A sheriff's deputy caught up to her at a hospital, where the dispatch record said she went to seek treatment of her mental state. She told the officer the neighbor used a brick to break her SUV's window and that she herself broke another in an attempt to get into the car to get away. The deputy noted Massey appeared to be having mental health problems and was seeking treatment for scrapes she sustained reaching through the broken glass. She told the officer she had recently been released from a mental health facility and claimed that earlier that day she was out with police who attempted to run her off the road. The officer said Massey also had paperwork from a July 3rd interaction with a mental health mobile crisis unit from another Springfield hospital. 12 hours later, July 6th, Sonya called 911 to report a suspected prowler.
I keep hearing stuff on the outside of my house, and it sounds like somebody was banging on the side of my house. I don't know. Oh, could y'all come and see?
Grayson and the second deputy responded to the call of a prowler at Massey's home. Body camera video shows that after checking yards around the home just before 1 a.m. July 6th, Massey greeted the deputies at the front door with, "Don't hurt me."
Oh, we hurt you. You called us.
Okay.
Body camera video indicates they noticed the broken windows on the SUV and ask Massey if it is hers, which she denies. From the start of their interaction, there are a number of clues suggesting Massey may be experiencing a mental health issue. She has trouble understanding and answering their basic questions, appeared confused, and repeated, "Please, God."
Is this your car over here? Is this your car over here? Oh. That's not your black car in the driveway? Oh, well, we checked your yard, we walked around the whole block, we didn't see anybody.
Please, God, I'm trying to get help, y'all, but
What do you need help with?
nothing. I just, please, God, I don't know what to do.
Do with what?
Huh?
What do you need help with?
Nothing. I just wanted to see if y'all could help me.
What do you want help with?
Huh?
What do you you want help with?
And when they ask if she's doing all right mentally, she says, yes, I took my medicine, according to the body camera footage.
Doing all right mentally?
Yes.
Sure?
My medicine and stuff.
All right.
The house appears messy in the video, with clothes strewn across her bedroom and the kitchen counter covered in items. She had trouble finding her ID and asked for her Bible.
I got some paperwork. Can you grab that Bible, please?
Yeah. Hey, I just need your name so we can get out of here.
After around a minute and a half of searching, the deputies requested that Massey check on her stove, saying, don't need a fire while we're here.
1 second.
Check on her.
Let me get this.
We don't need a fire while we're here.
Right.
Neither officer has any issue with her going over to get the pot. After Massey picks up the pot of water, the unidentified deputy and Grayson move backwards. Massey asks the officers where they are going. Grayson replies, away from your hot steaming water.
Huh? Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Massey repeats her question and says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
After Massey repeats her statement at Grayson's prompting, Grayson draws his gun and replies, you better not. I swear to God I'll shoot you right in your face.
I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
The unidentified deputy also draws his gun. Massey immediately apologizes by saying, okay, I'm sorry, and drops to the floor behind the kitchen counter. However, both deputies advance from the living room towards the kitchen with their weapons trained on Massey.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot! Drop the pot! Drop! 19 shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Grayson fires 3 shots at Massey's head, striking her below the left eye. They let her get to a pot of boiling water. If they thought she was a threat, they could have called her over and one of the officers could have walked up, turned off the stove and dumped the water. What the hell? They send her to the pot and then shoot her because she has the pot in her hands. A gun is an extreme escalation that results in death. Grayson could have pulled out the stun gun located on his duty vest. He has demonstrated a willingness to use deadly force despite the availability of non-lethal alternatives when there is no threat to his physical safety. And in reality, the deputies could have simply backed away from Massey and created distance from the pot of boiling water. After the shooting, Grayson failed to provide any medical care for Massey and was dismissive of efforts to do so. The video shows.
I'm gonna go get my kit. Headshot, dude. You're done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot.
Grayson's partner says he's going to get a medical kit to help, but Grayson responds, nah, she's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. Let her just... There's nothing we can do, man. After about 2 minutes, his partner grabs a towel and leans down to try to help Massey, and he notes she's still gasping a bit.
She's still gasping a little bit.
Grayson later goes to his vehicle to get his own medical supplies, and when he gets back to the house, he is told there's nothing he can do for her. All right, I'm not even going to waste my med stuff then, Grayson says.
You good? I'm good. You good? Yeah, I'm good. You good? All right. Well, I mean, what else do we do?
The deputy's actions and words show a lack of compassion. An officer who employs deadly force actually has an obligation to immediately shift to rendering aid if the subject of their force no longer poses a threat. Officers waited over 2 minutes before moving in to apply pressure on her bullet wounds. In the aftermath of the shooting, the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office opened an investigation of the incident, which was turned over to the Illinois State Police. The investigation was completed within 10 days. Body cam video showed Grayson shooting Campbell in her kitchen.
Where's he going? No, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water.
You shot her?
Yeah.
The personnel file includes the results of the internal investigation that led to Grayson's dismissal, indicating that he violated rules on use of force and standards of conduct, failed to turn on his body camera, or to provide medical aid in insubordination for refusing to answer questions during the investigation's interview even after a superior ordered him to. Grayson immediately escalated to deadly force based on the decedent stating, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." When Deputy Grayson pointed his firearm at the decedent, she was not making any aggressive movements, only talking. Grayson's failure to attempt nonviolent strategies and techniques, or to communicate, led to Massey's death. After his discharge, Grayson resided in Junction City, Kansas. According to his lawyer, Grayson was not a threat to the community because he was compliant and turned himself in within a half hour after his arrest warrant was issued. In the state's court filing, prosecutors said a use of force expert had reviewed the body camera footage and concluded the use of deadly force was not justified. The expert likened the scenario to an officer intentionally and unnecessarily putting himself in front of a moving vehicle and then justifying use of force because of fear of being struck, the prosecutors wrote. Grayson was indicted by a grand jury on 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count each of aggravated battery with a firearm and official misconduct. He has pleaded not guilty and was denied pre-trial release, according to court records. Grayson is being held in the Menard County Jail. Sean Patrick Grayson, the 30-year-old deputy from Riverton, Illinois, responsible for killing Massey. Grayson worked for 6 different law enforcement agencies in Illinois since 2020, including the Pawnee, Kincaid, Verdon, and Auburn police departments, as well as the Logan County Sheriff's Office. He was also discharged from the Army in February 2016 after serving for about 19 months. Grayson is part of what law enforcement officials and experts call America's Legion of Wandering Officers, who drift from police department to police department, sometimes even after having been fired, forced to resign, or convicted of a crime.
We're at the end of 2nd Street, she's taking it right.
Grayson had a history of disciplinary issues at other law enforcement agencies, including allegations he put false information in his police reports and once disobeyed a command to end a high-speed chase.
Are you pursuing?
I'm about to terminate. She's flying up 121 right now. Well, I'll definitely be terminated because a buck just smacked the side of my driver's side door.
The first incident occurred in August 2015. Grayson's vehicle was impounded after he was charged with driving under the influence. He pleaded guilty and paid more than $1,320 in fines, according to court records. In July 2016, Grayson was charged with another DUI. Again, he pleaded guilty and paid more than $2,400 in fines, court records show. Grayson acknowledged the DUI charges when he applied to be an officer at Auburn Police Department in Illinois in 2021. He worked there from July 2021 to May 2022. In May 2022, Grayson started working at the Logan County Sheriff's Office in Illinois. He wrote the sheriff a brief letter detailing his terrible decision to drink and drive. Grayson's letter also said he lost his driving privileges for 1 year after pleading guilty to his second DUI in 2016. A background check was performed prior to Grayson's hiring in Sangamon County, Campbell said. Prior DUI convictions are not disqualifying criteria for a deputy. Scott Butterfield, a retired Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy and the father of Grayson's girlfriend, wrote a glowing reference for Grayson before he was hired. Sheriff Jack Campbell said that when he hired Grayson in May 2023, the new deputy received twice as much training as other recent hires. No law enforcement agencies reported problems with Grayson before he was hired in Sangamon County, though previous employers had commented he needed more training. Grayson received 16 weeks of academy training after being hired, according to Campbell. Also, Sheriff worked with Scott for 24 years who wrote reference for Grayson. It gave him some confidence that if Scott would recommend somebody, but it's not a pass to the front of the line.
There was nothing in Grayson's background that could have led us to believe that he would commit this violent act.
The Illinois Sheriff's deputy, Sean Grayson, is now listed as suspended on a statewide registry of officers who have been fired, forced to resign, or had their law enforcement licenses revoked due to misconduct. It happened only after he was fired and charged with murder. The shooting again underscores the critical need for police agencies to thoroughly vet potential hires. The pattern and nature of frequent job changes by a police officer should raise flags about their suitability for the policing profession. The absence of an exhaustive national database for tracking and weeding out rogue cops, along and appears to be responsible for a grossly disproportionate number of tragic incidents. And it's never a good sign when a police department is hiring officers on a part-time basis. In a community meeting, residents called for Campbell to resign. At least 3 Sangamon County board members have also called on Campbell to resign, and an online petition calling for him to step down has received more than 38,000 signatures. This senseless police killing is a chilling reflection of the failures of our current public safety system, one where a mother of 2 was killed in her own home by police who were supposed to protect her after they responded to her 911 call for help. Miss Massey complied with former Deputy Sheriff Grayson's instruction to check on a pot of boiling water by turning off the stove and removing the pot. Nevertheless, Grayson verbally threatened Miss Massey, causing her to apologize and crouch in fear. Grayson then inexplicably shot Miss Massey 3 times and discouraged his partner from administering aid as she lay gasping for air on the floor in a horrific display of cruelty. No human being should experience the callous and unconscionable violence wrought upon Miss Massey.
7 months on, how are you still employed by us?
I don't know.